to Between Sundays podcast. I'm excited to be able to talk to you a little bit about marriage. Got the Goldsmiths here, longtime members, prodigal members have come back.
Yes.
So we're thankful you're back. We're thankful that you're able to come here with us. Talk a little bit about marriage. How long have you guys been married? Test.
There's the test. So it's since 94, so it's
this month it'll be 32 years.
32 years.
Yeah.
All right, grown kids, grandkids are in the picture.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Retired?
Yes.
Not retired.
Not retired.
So that's probably unique there. But we're here to talk about marriage, and it's good to know the duration, and you guys have been believers, been walking with the Lord together. I'm sure you've had experiences that are unique to you, but thinking through what have been some helpful things in your marriage that you've learned or you've grown to appreciate over time. It could be anything out there.
Helpful things that we've learned. I think that one of the best things that we've learned is to go to the Lord with our issues instead of take them out on one another.
Sure.
I think that's one of the biggest things that we've progressed in. Not there yet, but progressed in. Tammy used to be the outgoing, very hot-headed, quick-tempered person, and I was always a little more introverted and things like that. So it was kind of a difficult first few years, probably, of marriage, first couple years of marriage.
Sure.
Just totally different. Got along great, dated great, all those things. But when you start living with one another, things come out that you didn't expect, and you handle conflict differently. And
Well, I grew up with brothers, and so we ended up, you just, boom, let's do this.
Fine.
And then the next minute, hey, let's go eat. You know what I'm saying? And so he was not used to that. Even though he had a brother, he just wasn't used to somebody who was, let's do this, let's get it done. I'm not a woman who pouts and gets,
No silent treatment.
It has happened.
Okay.
yeah,
Still a woman.
yeah, it's honestly the communication style and the communication frequency and amounts. We had to adjust to that.
Yeah.
She was very, very good at that, and I was not at all. And I think some point in our marriage, we're starting to flip flop now, maybe because of my job role and responsibility.
Yes.
And she's heard it all for years from her career, so she's become a much better listener and doesn't speak out as much. And I've become, I don't know about a better communicator, but a more frequent communicator.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that
Forced
helps.
extrovism.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So communicating effectively is one of the things that we've learned and had to grow and progress on.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're better, but we're not.
Yeah, well, we got married, like I said, in May of 94, and his parents celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary in August. And then that Thanksgiving, they told us they were getting a divorce.
Oh, wow.
So that really affected him the first year of our marriage.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he really kind of almost closed down because they had been involved in church his whole life. They were the youth leaders. They, so everything just kind of blew up in his world.
It was almost a crisis of faith, right? Everything that you've taught me the entire 20-some years of my life, I'm now questioning because you just abandoned it.
Yeah.
As my parents.
And as you're entering into your own covenant marriage.
Right.
What's this going to turn out in 25 years?
Right. It was a little bit of turmoil. And rightfully so from my perspective, because I'm like, I was starting to question a lot of things. I wasn't questioning God, but I was questioning marriage. Is it the right person? Is it the right time? Is it the right place? All those things just started coming into mind. So it was definitely a tough season the first couple of years for us. So,
Yeah. Well, what other helpful things did you learn over the years that you've gotten better at or are progressing in? I know no one perfects this.
I think when we started having kids, we were already youth leaders here. And, we became youth leaders right after Gretchen. But, we discovered, we watched a lot of parents choose their children over their spouse. Sean had kind of experienced that a little bit too. So when we started having kids, we were like, we are determined to do date nights. Mm-hmm. We are determined to go away on our own. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just a weekend, we even did a week's. We didn't do that very often, but maybe for something special. But we were very determined to make sure we did not lose each other because he had already experienced that. So we both said, Okay, so even like the kids as they kept getting older, well, why aren't we going? We're like, we're choosing us because one day you're going to look at us and be like, bye, and they did,
They did.
and they did.
Praise the Lord.
Which
Yes,
is great.
yes,
Great.
yeah, you know, because they're not ours anyways. But it was, you know, that was probably the best thing for us, and we always did marriage.
Conferences. So that was another thing that we
Conferences.
learned.
Okay.
So our two lifestyles, our two families were pretty different. You know, we both had a Christian upbringing, that I would consider, but it was just different perspectives.
Yeah.
I moved out here after we got married, and she lived here her entire life. So it was a little more of an adjustment for me. But one thing I did not want to do, I certainly wasn't going to my parents for marital advice.
Sure.
And then I didn't want to rely on her parents either from potentially a skewed perspective. So one of the things that benefited us is we got plugged into church in Sunday school here in a small group Sunday school that grew and expanded, and relationships that we established there were lasting and still are.
Good.
Conferences, marriage conferences. We went to several of them, just the two of us. And that was really beneficial because it wasn't anybody forcing us to do it. It was something that we chose to do and invested our time and resources in doing those things to figure out from a biblical perspective, how is this supposed to work?
Sure.
And it helped. It was a family life conference, wasn't it? I think it was Dennis and Barbara Rainey. It was we did 5 love languages. We did a couple other ones. It was eye-opening for me.
It's also amazing in 32 years how your love languages can change too, you know, because you can start off this way.
Yeah.
You then have kids and, or even if you don't have kids, you can still change. And,
That's right.
And we have learned that we have changed on that, so.
Yeah, and I think that's certainly people, I think when I used to work college ministry, get married and I'm like, oh, I know them so well and this, and like, well, they're going to change some, and you're like, no, they're not. This is who they are.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, experiences, time, interest, kids, so many things should change you.
Right.
And maybe not foundationally who you are, some of the nuances, but certainly the ways that you care for people, how you receive care, what's valuable for care, things like that change over the duration of 30 years. Michelle and I will celebrate 18 years of marriage coming up in a couple of weeks. So we're looking forward to that. We're a little further behind you guys. But nonetheless, I think that's true. Prioritizing your spouse.
Right.
I know we say in our household, if I hear one of the girls speak poorly to Michelle, I'll be like, hey, you can't talk to my wife this way, right? It's not your mom, it's my wife. Make it very clear that distinction in a good, healthy way for them to understand that our relationship is involved in how you treat her. Right. Things like that. And so, those are really helpful things. I'm sure there's other ones, but as you've kind of touched on it, what have been some challenges? Obviously, the parents and that marriage collapsing in on itself provides challenge. But what are some other ones that have maybe shaped you guys' marriage and family?
Yeah, I think the challenges varied based on the stages of marriage. Of course, I talked about the ones that early in our marriage, before we had kids. Then when you introduce kids into it, new set of challenges, right? You invest a lot of time and effort into kids, but there's that balance. You have to still prioritize one another and prioritize extracurricular activities and all those things for the kids as well as your guys' time. And then church, we're trying to, it's all of those things are in a balance during that stage. Challenges seeing your kids grow up in school and dealing with some of the things that they deal with, and how do you respond to that in a godly manner, and in a unified front as well. Right. And that's the other thing is, challenges for us were, they just varied along those stages with our kids growing up.
Well, and we had to learn to parent together because we were sometimes parenting separate. And I'm the type who things are replaceable, people are not. So they do this or that, it'll be fine, and he was not taught that way. No. And so it was
all
always,
about things, right?
Yeah.
It's all about things.
Yeah. And we, and it's neat to hear our kids now that are almost 30 and 28, telling us, the things that we didn't even know how they perceived us. And that's quite interesting because you know, they kind of threw some in my face this weekend, you know. So, you know.
They're trying to divide and conquer.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So it's quite interesting to see that those were challenges. And then Sean worked for my family for a
Yes,
while,
the family business.
and he decided to go away from that, and that didn't go very well.
That didn't go very well because
Yeah.
her dad was the CEO and president of the primary company that we worked for, and I wanted to go out on my own.
And the cool thing is my kids got to see that my dad, even though he disagreed with some things with Sean, and even though Sean disagreed with things, Dad knew that I would always choose Sean.
Sure.
And he
that
knew.
was
And my
kudos
kids,
to her
yeah,
for that.
And I always said, and he said, I know you know that you'll always choose Sean, and I did. And he, came one day and he told Gretchen that, and Gretchen was just like, I'll never forget that, Mom, because you literally were like, he's your earthly father, but my commitment is to Sean.
Sure.
So that was a
Believe and cleave.
Yeah.
Right?
yes.
Right.
Sure.
And she did, and she demonstrated that very well. So I mean, I needed that, and that was a really important. It was a really important turning point in our marriage, I think, because I respected her a lot more for doing that. Because she's always been very tight with her dad too. So they've had a great relationship the entire time. So when she did choose me, I mean, it's not like we were going to separate from this thing, but
Yeah.
but there were obviously a lot of family disagreements and some tough times and some awkward birthdays and holidays and those kind of things.
Sure.
And it wasn't so much an adversarial thing. It was just a difficult time for various reasons, and I won't get into details of all that. That's another conversation for another day.
Another podcast. We'll get started on here.
Right.
Can talk through work-life balance.
Right.
Those
Right.
types of things. So.
Yeah. So that was a good period of our
I
life.
think another challenge too is that we also watched parents who hold on to their kids so tightly that when our kids got to high school, we would be asked, "Well, why don't you go on this mission trip?" I'm like, "Nope." And, if my daughter chooses to go,
Yeah.
she
Let
can
them
go.
experience that.
Yeah. So we learned a lot from watching parents hang on too tight, and so that was one thing we would have lots of conversations with a lot of other parents because. I think because of the 10 years of experience in the youth ministry, we learned a lot.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, it's a great place. If you don't have children, you want to see the outcome of parenting to a certain age or time. And then even beyond that, what it looks like to navigate that. I recommend all those young married couples jump in the student ministry.
sure. Yes.
That'll help you tremendously when you get your own kids.
Yeah, it
does.
really
The Lord
does.
provides. And so,
does.
yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
And you guys, obviously, shifts and alterations in the marriage that have been based upon work or kids or no kids and all those things,
Right.
Including home builds and a whole bunch of other ideas.
We did that. We did that early on when the kids were young. We decided to build another home and go through that, and that was
Put my shop in there so I could cut hair at home.
we did. I designed the plans. We started building the plans. Her dad was the GC, and I was the consultant, if you will, on the thing, and it all ended. Well, did it go ideally? No.
Sure.
But
Never does.
it never does.
Stretches and test the marriage.
Yes. And it stretched and tested her relationship with her dad at times and my relationship with her dad at times. it all ended well. Honestly, it goes back to it's just things, right?
Yeah.
There are other preferences, but it's not really important. But building a home is a really challenging time for a couple because of all the inputs, of all the costs, of all the commitments, and all the stuff. But one of the things I would caution everybody that goes to do that is just stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's just stuff. It's really not important in the grand scheme of things. Would you like it to be ideal? Yes. Does it turn out that way? Not necessarily. What's important is that your relationship grows and endures. That's
Even
right.
beyond the house.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, in those years of marriage now, I'm sure there's been different rhythms for different seasons, but what have you found most helpful to do as a couple as you connect to one another and to the Lord together? Well, I mean, I know that, like I said, it's been different seasons. You have small kids.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I don't know when we're going to sit down and have a conversation. You got kids that are doing sports. And so, but there's probably some things that have really kind of lifted to the surface time and time again. It's been helpful.
I think, honestly, it's our commitment to, we attend Sunday school together, or small group. For a period, it was small group. Sometimes Sunday school, call it what you want, it's still a small group because we don't have really large ones, which is great. So the small group attendance and sometimes small group leadership puts us on the same page. We're very intentional about, if we're going to do this, we're doing this together.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're going to attend church together. Does she serve sometimes downstairs in the children's ministry? Yes, absolutely. Do I do sound? Yes. But we're there at the same times. We're listening to the same sermons. We get to discuss the same things. And one of the things that's kind of, I guess, maybe not so unique anymore, but now that we're working out of this, well, we're in the same house all the time now that she's retired. But even when she wasn't retired, we were still working out of the same house for the last 15 years. We get a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. And that was a massive adjustment when I came home and started working from home too. But so we discussed these things quite a bit. There was a season where we actually just prayed together in bed for a while.
Yeah.
Numerous obvious problems with that. Sometimes one falls asleep while you're holding hands with the other one and not listening anymore, so not participating in that one. So I mean, that was a short season, but she's doing her own individual Bible study. I'm doing my individual Bible study, but we still do the one together for the small group session. And we discuss things a lot more openly now than we did. You know, it used to be kind of reserved. You take your part and I take my part. But now it's kind of cool how God intertwines the different studies that we're doing, and we get to talk about it and how it's helping us in our daily lives. You know, in application for family, in application for work, or church interaction, friends, relationships.
Adult children.
Parenting adult children is another podcast.
You're not parenting. You're not parenting an adult child.
Right, no.
You're just walking. You're just walking along the side. Just walk along the
Supporting,
side.
right?
Yeah.
Where necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I think that has been foundational for us is regular routine, not just church attendance, because anybody can check a box and go to church on Sunday. It's being involved. And when you are involved and you establish those relationships, meaning comes forth.
Yeah, well, I could say, at least from my testimony of kind of hearing the previous time that you were at Rainbow and serving, and then I was seeing you return, it's not like work is diminished or responsibilities have decreased, but they haven't subtracted from your ambition and goal to be here to serve with the giftings the Lord's provided, both in leadership of a small group, but also sound and care for nursery, which is not for everybody. It's not for me.
It's not.
So I'm glad you're down there on rotation with those babies. And so those types of things are helpful, and it's good. And I think what I'd encourage the people listening is to certainly pull from some of these ideas. But one of the beautiful things is next Sunday you'll be there. So it's like, just come up and chat with me. You know, just, hey, struggling with some things or looking forward to what the future may hold. You're thinking about getting married, and we'd love to talk and sit down with the Goldsmiths and understand what that could cause and what that needs to be concerned with as we move forward. So I want to put you out there for opportunity people come up with you and chat with you. But thanks for taking time to jump on here and discuss this. We're looking forward to talking more about marriage and some of the ways that the Lord has gifted this covenant to be a blessing. We'll see you next time.